Hello and welcome to part 3 of the 2022 Modesto Masters. We are here at Yosemite Lanes in Modesto, California with the final 3 bowlers still in contention to take down the title. I'm Kevin, here with Alex. Let's get right back into the action. Alright guys, here we are in round 9 where we have Robert Rashford Jr. against Armando Godoy. Now, this is technically the loser's bracket, but they are the only bowlers bowling in the tournament right now. The winner of this match is going to meet Michael Pixley in round 10 for the title, and the loser of this match is going to take a 3rd place finish. So both these guys obviously gunning for the win, but a good finish regardless of what happens in this match for both of them. Good opening shot there for Armando, coming in a little bit light, as we've seen him do a bunch, but getting the job done. Now, Robert's been in the loser's bracket for quite a while, and in round 5, he bowled Casey Ryan, and I don't have the exact scores. I wish I would have wrote it down, but I didn't. But going into the second game, he was down a lot. I believe it was like 60 or 70 pins, and Robert rallied, got the front 11. I believe on his fill ball, he had no interest in the 300. He just wanted the pin count, which is what he needed, and ended up coming back and winning 489 to 482. So good on Robert for not giving up, being down so much, and doing what he needed to do to continue on in the tournament, and making good on his other matches to get here to round 9, where unfortunately he misses that spare. But you know, sometimes when you're down a lot, a lesser competitor might give up, and Robert's got no quit in him. Great shot there for Armando, and it looks like he's sticking with that. I'm sorry, what was he throwing?
That was a Ebonite Choice Pearl.
There you go.
Or Choice Solid, excuse me. I'm thinking of the Black Widow Ghost. That's a pearl that Robert Rashford's throwing. 2 different style bowlers, 2 different bowling balls going down lane. One common factor for both of them is they both bowl juniors in Stockton. So 2, again, great products through the junior program. Goes to show that bowling has all levels, all ages. And again, these are just 2 phenomenal products out of the Stockton area.
And good point there. Robert and Armando, very good friends. They've been bowling with each other pretty much their whole lives. So competing against each other is nothing new for them. Although the stakes for this match obviously a little higher than what they're probably used to. And I honestly didn't know that was possible to pick up the 8-10 that way. You know, when you leave the 2-8-10, you're really only expecting to get 2, maybe not those 2, but that was pretty cool to see. I'm sure Robert doesn't feel that way. He doesn't think it was cool that he got the 8-10. He just sees the open and probably a little bit irritated about it, but gets the strike on the left lane and just needs maybe to square up a little on 24, and he might be okay just by doing that. Armando, on the other hand, sticking with that light hit. It's been working for him. It seems like when he's in the pocket, he leaves a lot more 10 pins. That light mixer has been pretty consistently working out for him.
We talked about different lines, but also different hits. Some houses you have to hit them flush to carry, as Armando did in that shot. But some houses you have to hit them light to, of course, improve your pin carry. For you, Kevin, what would you prefer? Do you prefer to carry that light off hit, or do you prefer to stay in the pocket and go from there?
Personally, I prefer for pocket hits. It affords you a little more miss in both directions. You can miss a little bit left and a little bit right if you're in the pocket. If you could still be in the pocket. If you're aiming for that light hit and you miss a little wide, I seem to leave a lot of 2-10s when I do that. So if the light mixer's working, it's not a bad option. It's not my preferred option. But if the alternative is in the pocket and you're leaving corner pins, you know, sometimes you just gotta go with what the lane's giving you. Great shot there. That was perfect. How about you? What do you look for when you see a lane like that? Do you prefer the light hit, or would you make the adjustment?
There is actually a bowling pin called the twister pins. I'm not a fan of them. Some other folks like them, especially if you have the rev rate and the accuracy, in a sense, to carry some of those light hits, just because the twister pins are of a different coating and a different material, thus the off hits are better. The ones we have are your just traditional bowling pin, where of course you do have to hit them a little bit better to of course carry, as again Robert did in that shot. I'll play the rack as it is. If I can carry a light hit, I'll do a light hit. If I have to stuff them to strike, then I'll do as the pins tell me.
And that's something that you the viewer at home can maybe start paying attention to. Different types of pins will give you different types. Oh wow, I didn't think that messenger had any chance of getting that 10. But different pins might give you different type of hits. So if you just bowl at one house, you may not be as quite of an issue as if you travel and bowl a lot of different tournaments in different houses. But absolutely, you'll notice some houses carry better light, or some places don't carry at all light, and that could be a factor of the type of pin, as Alex mentioned. Definitely some good insight. Maybe you at home can use that knowledge to help you in future tournaments. And hard to see what happened there. Maybe just threw it a little bit fast, leaving the 2-pin. But he's definitely favoring the light hit. Maybe making a little bit of an overcorrection there, tripping the 4-9. And opening game for 239 for Armando. Robert's going to have to strike out to keep this close. He could strike out for 236, keep it a 3-pin match, which is by far the closest first game match we would have seen so far. And how many times have I said it? As soon as I say something like that, something weird happens. And Robert leaving a pocket 7-10, sometimes you just got to shake your head and move on. But as I mentioned before, Robert, no stranger to being down after game 1 and rallying to get the W. So, as it is, Armando with a 37-pin lead after game 1.
I'm going to riff a little bit about equipment here, just kind of seeing some of the ball choices the bowlers are using, and then Robert trying, as mentioned in our strategies as we were discussing, try to Polaris the 10th frame to see if we can get a different look. And it wasn't as good. Polaris, a big ball. He's actually still staying in it. Decent shot. The Polaris, like Armando's Ebonite Choice Solid, it's just very tumbly. He wants to pick up a lot in the fronts, not really have anything in the back. So made sense on his 7-10. Either made an adjustment, whether it be his hand, ball speed, different line, he made a better choice. On this lane, he's with the Hammer Black Widow Ghost, one of my personal favorites at Yosemite lanes. Got down lane, good pop in the back, and that 9-pin is just more of a walk-through 9. Both balls, 2 different cover stocks. One again a solid, the Polaris, and the Pearl being the Black Widow Ghost, is going to give you a completely different ball motion, a little more down lane, of course, snappier in the back. Armando again going with his Choice Solid, again having a better rapport with Armando. His Ebonite Choice Solid's not going to be that big early roll like Ratchford's Polaris. So again, 2 different styles, 2 different bowling balls, just again different strategies with equipment, and also too in a sense their performances. So it's always good to talk with your coach, ball driller, whomever's helping you with your equipment to kind of get some equipment matched up regardless of what bowling center you're in.
That's some good insight there. And you can see why I asked Alex to be on the show with me. Is that's information I would have never even thought to give you guys. So hopefully you can use that information and help your game the next time you're in a tournament or in a situation where you need to make a ball choice, a ball change. And that looked left off his hand, yeah. Fortunate to just leave just the 4-pin. That could have got ugly quick, but covers the spare. Looked like he stuck at the line a little bit, but not a problem. So Robert losing a little more ground here. Max score 48 pins down. So not insurmountable, but certainly not ideal. And that lead is going to extend a little more for Armando as Robert leaves the 2-4-5. Sneaky difficult spare to get sometimes, but he covers it nicely. Now Armando with a double here can really start to put pressure on Robert. Robert's kind of struggling to find the pocket here, and when he does, he's struggling to find carry. Armando with a big strike there, and Robert's going to start feeling the pressure if Armando can get this hit. Yeah, great shot. Look like he's tightened up his line. He's playing a little more inside, trying to use the oil to his advantage. Let the ball store up a little bit more energy before it starts to make its move. A good adjustment there for Robert. And Robert with a much needed double. A little bit light, tripping the 7 late, but at this late in the match and it only being a 2-game match, he can't afford to have any unfortunate breaks at this point. And Armando's looking dialed. He's looking confident. Off his hand, you can tell just from his body English he likes it. So he's feeling it. He's lined up. He's getting the carry. Made a good ball choice from the previous match, leaving the 6-pin there. Looked like he just leaked it out a little bit. Good cover. So if you look at max score, Armando with a 40-pin lead. I know it says 90 next to the plus 90, but that's predicated on Ratchford, sorry, being 1 frame behind. And just like that, he cuts that plus down to 60, and it's because Armando is on a spare. That 60 is not quite 60. Like I said, max score is 40, and that's if both players strike out. Obviously, Robert being on a double, it's going to count more to strike out, and that's a good hit there. Didn't look like he liked it, but he needed that. Yeah. So Armando, it looks like he's got a little bit of room to miss right. It doesn't look like he has any room to miss left. He's playing a very tight inside part of the lane to where anything left it risks just going right through the face as he leads a flat 10 there, which gives Robert just a little glimmer of hope. He's going to get back 21 pins on that max score. I'm sorry, that's only not 21. He's on. Armando's on a double, so he's going to get 20 back. Max score. And just like I mentioned in round 5, Robert not afraid of being down in a match. In fact, it seems when Robert's down, it brings out the best in him. It seems like the more he needs a strike, the more he seems to get them.
And then one more riff. This one is on Robert Ratchford. In his previous matches, all of his opponents would miss a timely spare either in the middle or closer to the end of the game while Robert was down. And as Kevin mentioned, he put the strikes he would need together and would advance. And right now with, again, Armando's talent and ability, he's almost clean. Robert Ratchford ball change to the hammer web pearl definitely looks a lot better than some of his other ASIMs. Again, in Yosemite, we have quite a bit of friction, and just that ball just seems to match up and handle the friction a lot better than some of the ASIMs. The web pearl being symmetric, so it's a little more controlled off the spot, not so torquey in a sense off the spot, and good trip 4 there. Armando would just need a mark in a sense, or I think he's good. Just again, Armando shut it down, stayed clean, didn't give Ratchford any chance to, of course, do Robert Ratchford things this tournament.
And also take note, Robert almost came back and won this match with 3 opens, one of them being in the 10th frame. Armando was clean. So you can easily see if you know, and if you remember in the 10th frame of the first game, Robert left a pocket 7-10. If it was just a 7 or the 10, he would be up in this match if everything else played out the same, and he would have won. So an unfortunate break and an unfortunate time. He made a good fight. He came back. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough, and he's gonna finish out the 2022 Modesto Masters in 3rd place. A great finish for him. He'll be looking to come back next year and try and get the win. But Armando's going to move on to round 10 against Michael Pixley for the championship. And as I mentioned before, Michael is undefeated. And as this is a double elimination tournament, Armando is going to have to beat Michael in 2 consecutive matches to take this win. Whereas Michael only has to, well, Michael. If Michael can beat Armando in just this round 10, that's it. He'll be the champion. So Armando's got his work cut out for him. This is a bit of a rematch. Again, spoiler alert, they bowled each other in round 8. So this is a bit of a rematch for them. Armando didn't quite like it off his hand, leaving a flat 10, yeah. And before I forget, I had mentioned in part 2, Michael Pixley had a 300, but there were also a few honor scores from yesterday's qualifying. Doug Stockton had a 299 in Game 5, Jim Gordon had a 300 in Game 1, John Brandon had a 300 in Game 2, and Rich Custer had a 300 in Game 5. So congratulations to those guys on some great bowling.
Also to Jim Gordon, games 1 through 3 with the 300, he ended up finishing with 848.
That's incredible. And both these bowlers looking very well lined up, so this should be exciting. Hopefully we can get some fireworks going on in this game and a lot of strikes. Unfortunate 10-pin there. It looks like Michael has been throwing just about the same shot all day. I can't recall seeing him throw any other ball, any other line. It's just been dialed in, and fortunately for him, every pair he's been on has been pretty consistent to where he's been able to just keep throwing that same line. And Armando coming in a little high, just leaving the 6-pin. If you didn't watch part 2, in round 8, Armando struggled just a little bit. He was struggling with ball reaction. He was coming in light quite often. Made a ball change late in the round, but it was already too late. And obviously you just saw him bowl against Robert Ratchford, where he made the adjustment and started stringing some strikes. And coming in just a little bit high again, leaving just the 9-pin. It looked like maybe it was a misrelease. It didn't look like he was too happy with it off his hand, but we'll have to see if maybe this pair is just a little bit more open and can get a little more angle. Lucky strike there. I don't know what hit the 7 pin, but fell down nonetheless, and he'll fill the box. So Michael with 3 out of the first 4 strikes, Armando with only 1. So as I mentioned plenty of times, you don't want to give Michael too much breathing room, especially right at the beginning of the match. So he'll make it very difficult to catch up, and if he's getting breaks like that, it's gonna be a little tougher. Let's see if Armando can make a little bit of the adjustment he needs to make here. Get the ball out just a little bit more. Yeah, that was great. That one actually didn't look like he got it out more. It looked like he maybe just moved in a little, used a little bit of the oil that's in the mid part of the lane, and delayed the reaction later. Yeah. So Armando with a double, definitely needed it. And now we'll see what Michael can do here. And Michael might need to make a little bit of an adjustment also. His last few came in just a little bit high. He tripped obviously chipped the 6-8. Yeah, 6-8 in frame 5, and I believe in the 4th frame it was just a late 7.
Correct. I wonder if he maybe played it a little tighter and the ball jumped a little bit, again getting a light break. This one,
I would expect this one to be a little bit more outside. Yeah, so he definitely made a little bit of a move off the tripping the 6-8. Light mixer, not a problem. It looked like a good shot, but I wonder if he grabbed it a little at the bottom. It didn't look like it was very clean off his hand. It looked like he maybe got a little bit of loft that he normally doesn't have. And maybe that could be the reason, but that wasn't the reason there for the 10 pin. That's unfortunate. And he knows that's going to cost him. He knows now he's really going to have to focus and try and strike out to make up for that open. Yeah, he didn't like it, but at least he got the strike. Gives him a chance to sit down. He gets a couple of minutes to gather his thoughts before his next turn. And Michael now, after seeing an opponent get an open, usually means the next couple shots are going to be right there in the pocket. Yeah, no surprise there. Great shot. Definitely the best of the last 3 he threw on lane 28.
nearing the end of the game, you wonder what adjustments need to be made. Again, you light hit or leaving a 10 pin, do you move in which direction? Some folks traditionally scooted back about 6 inches to a foot, just getting the ball to try to slow down and finish more in the pocket instead of behind the head pin. On a, say like a 4 pin, a 4-9, some folks will make move off of that. For picks, it'd be a 6 pin or a 6-8. In comments, what adjustments would you make according to what you would leave or what scenario would be in?
Yeah, and as you mentioned, scooting back a little in the approach, and all that's really going to do is kind of change the angle, or what am I trying to say? The delay of the reaction of the ball on the lane, so it could change the angle just enough. I mean, a ringing 10 pin doesn't usually require a big adjustment. Sometimes a little adjustment is all you need. But that looked quite a bit inside. Hard to tell if that's the line he meant to throw. But leaving the 4-7 should be an easy spare. Yeah, picks it up. So he's going to have to strike here to shoot a 204. And if Michael strikes out, he's going to have a 54 pin lead going into game 2. And if Michael wins the match, that's it. It's game over. So Armando's going to have to really figure it out and try and beat Michael by a lot in game 2 to extend the tournament to round 11. So Michael with a strike here is going to gain 30 pins and have a lead of 26 at minimum. Yeah, and there it is. So the lead of 26 is indicative of him double guttering, which we're fairly certain he's not going to do. A strike here will give him another 20, and if he gets the fill ball, will be another 10. So if he strikes out, he'll have a lead of 56. Yeah, that looked it looked like he kind of just dumped it right in the right spot and found a lot of friction, but it all looks the same on the scoreboard.
This also is going to show, like, between Pixley and Armando. Pixley has just been rolling the ball very well, maybe missing a little bit left or right, where Armando I think has been throwing the ball a little bit better, but just Pixley just having the right touch, right ball. Pixley's going, I believe, still his Hammer Web Tour, where again Armando made his ball change to the Ebonite Choice Solid.
Yeah, and I believe we mentioned in part 1, we kind of asked, you know, would you rather go with a ball that you feel is the right, or do you go for where you have the most room to miss? And it looks like Pixley's in that, you know, latter category. He's in the zone where he has that room to miss, left, right, slow or fast, and he's still getting the ball to the pocket like he needs to be. It looks like Armando's has to be quite a bit more accurate and a lot more finesse to get the ball to where he wants it to be. And there it is, Michael going a little bit high, leaving that 6-8 that he got lucky and tripped on 27. This time it stays standing. Maybe gives a glimmer of hope to Armando as Michael starts out with an open, but he's got a big mountain to climb. Again, going quite a bit higher this time, getting just the 5 count. Not a terribly tough split to pick up, but that wasn't really that close anyway. So 2 opens in a row for Michael, not something you're going to see very often, especially in a situation like this where he knows if he were to start out with a few strikes, it could potentially just lock up the tournament for him. And Armando knowing a double here would be huge. Unfortunately coming a little high, leaving the 9 pin. But he'll cover it up. He knows he's going to need to start striking, because if Michael's going to give him some breathing room, it's his opportunity to catch up and put up a good fight in this match. Yeah, so that'll work. Now I'm pretty curious to see what Michael's going to do here. He struck out the last 6 in the first game, and then going high on his next 2 shots in frames 1 and 2, and leaving two splits. I'd be very surprised if this one went high also. Right there in the pocket. Good adjustment, leaving the 7. Be a pretty routine spare for Michael. Yeah, okay. So Armando cutting into the lead just a little bit. He was down, was it 54 at the start of the game, and now max score he's only down 22. So he cut the lead in half in just the first 3 frames, and Armando is on a strike and Michael's on a spare, so really it's more like 12. And just a bad break there, leaving another 10 pin. So Michael's comfortable lead is now all but erased. Max score, Michael still has Armando by 11, but that does not afford you a lot of room. That's one mistake, one mistake at the wrong time could definitely cost you more than 11 pins. And Armando knows how big that shot was. Didn't quite get the pin reaction or the ball reaction he expected, but he got the strike, and that's what's important. Big double there. That was two shots he really needed. And for the first time in the tournament, it seems that Michael has a little bit of stress he's got to deal with. He sees his opponent is lining up and getting the strikes, and he has had 0 in the last 4. The last 2 definitely could have struck, but they didn't. And so now, okay, that was a great shot. Good carry. He's probably thinking if he can get this one on lane 27, he'll be able to breathe a little easier while Armando's bowling, gather his thoughts, and try and figure this out. You can tell by his body English, he was, I don't know if he threw a bad shot or if he was just hoping it was going to be the right one. But coming in light, leading the 6 pin, and now his lead is gone. Max score, Armando, if he strikes out, he can extend this tournament to round 11. Big shot here. Wow. Messenger was definitely gunning for that 7 pin. It looked like the 1 pin came off the wall and knocked it away. So, and that one's gonna hurt. He had the lead for the first time in this round, and just like that, it flipped back to Michael's favor.
Halfway through 6, we're watching both bowlers in a sense of execution, where again Michael was in a ball, he had a little more miss room, and where Armando in a sense was throwing it a little bit better. It seemed to escape Michael for the first 6, and then again Armando just still trying to do his best up until that errant spare shot. Just coming down to the end, is it just more execution, a little bit of luck?
And just a reminder to the viewers, this is for the championship match, potentially. And so there's a lot of nerves, there's a lot of adrenaline going on, and it's kind of clear to see on some of these shots, you know, they're not really throwing bad shots sometimes, but you can tell by their body English, they feel like it's a bad shot because all that pressure is kind of mounting, and it just makes it feel, a small mistake makes, you know, it feels exponentially bigger. And a great hit there, and you can even see it, like, so you saw Michael a couple of rounds already. You don't really see a lot of reaction out of him, out of his demeanor, but you can see on the last couple he ran those shots out, so you know there's a lot of adrenaline and there's a lot of anxiety going on, because there's a lot of pressure at this stage. And Armando throwing a great shot there. Keep your head up, kid. I mean, you're still in this. You're gonna need these strikes. Don't get down on yourself. You still got 2 frames left.
And then also going back to the previous video, again explaining their collegiate experience, again where we grew up as junior bowlers. Do we take lessons from some of the local pros? Do we further, as Armando leaves a 7 pin, do we further our bowling career going collegiately, getting more experience from that? And as this match comes down closer to the end, we're going to see some of that experience kind of come through.
Yeah, and Armando with that same 7 pin, basically he left in the 6th frame, looked like the same type of hit. Messenger was going for the 7 and the 1 pin came off the wall and swatted it away. But he's able to pick it up. It's not over yet, but if Michael can strike here, it pretty much is going to seal the deal. And leaving the 8 pin, not the worst. He'll still have an opportunity to bowl the 10th frame first and win the tournament with Armando sitting on the bench. So Michael covering the spare nicely. He's just going to need 8 pins on the first shot in the 10th and 1, and he'll shoot 429 and he'll be the 2022 Modesto Masters champion. And hold on now. So, if Michael shoots 170, that'll put him at 428. Which means if he picks this up and keeps it on the lane, he'll win the tournament. If he doesn't pick this up, it's going to give Armando an opportunity to strike out and extend this tournament to round 11. And I think Michael's just now realizing that's the situation. Big shot here. Okay, so he gets 3. So, as I said before, Armando can strike out and extend the tournament to round 11. Anything less, well, I guess double 9 would force a roll-off. But anything less than that, Michael Pixley is going to be your champion. You know, after game 1, we had mentioned he had such a big lead, and it was kind of his tournament to lose, and unfortunate breaks along the way, and Armando got a couple. Oh, and
there's that 7
there's
pin.
that same 7 pin. Yeah, that's 3 this game, and I believe he had 1 also in the first game. That same 1 pin coming across and taking out the messenger that would otherwise probably take out the 7. Just a heartbreaking hit at the worst time. And that's going to do it. He's mathematically eliminated, and Michael Pixley is going to win the tournament undefeated. So, you got Freddie Irvin in the background, who helped run the tournament, kind of giving Armando some gripe. Yeah, that gets a strike there when he doesn't need it. Didn't even look like he tried, but that's bowling. Great bowling, guys, and congratulations to Michael Pixley on the 2022 Modesto Masters champion.
We would also like to thank Brunswick for their continuous support of the Modesto Masters, along with sponsors of Bowling Outfitters, Yosemite Lanes, McKenna Bowl, Cal West Roofing, Modesto USBC, and Mark Baker Bowling.
Alright guys, thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. See you next time for the 2022 Manteca Masters.